Hey, good morning or good afternoon, I suppose, at this point. Brian Russell, I'm your Lunch and Learn Coordinator for the PMI Western Idaho chapter. Welcome to our January session. Today we have Quan Holloway joining us. She's going to be talking about, well, you can see on the screen there, your meetings can be automated, your influence can't. That's the subject for today. Quan's been with us presenting what, Quan? I think this is like your third or fourth year. So she's our regular guest. Her and her team at Holloway Consulting Group help technology teams solve complex problems because she and her team enjoy leading people, solving problems, and delivering successful solutions. Quan is a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt and project manager professional with extensive experience in driving successful change in the information technology and supply chain arena. So welcome, Quan, to the PMI Western Idaho chapter Lunch and Learn. For the audience as well, just note that we're monitoring the chat function. So questions, anything like that come up, or questions you might want to have for you, Quan, just feel free to put them in the chat. So with that, Quan, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me back. This is my fourth year, Brian, because during the pandemic, you said, hey, we're remote. Would you like to present?
That's
So,
right. Yeah. Yep.
so I'm very
4 years.
excited to be here with you guys today. Thank you for having me back. And I am from Atlanta, Georgia. So, as a kind of down south thing to say, I'd like to say I've enjoyed visiting with your chapter over the years. Doesn't it sound so southern? Anyway, in our world today, I think we have the opportunity and the reality of having a lot of life's information at our fingertips. I remember when it used to be Ask Jeeves for me. I was so sad when they disappeared and I moved on to Google. But now we also have technology and tools that help us organize that information very quickly in very meaningful patterns. And that's really amazing. But what it doesn't do for us is act. And if we don't act, we're just organizing really pretty words on slides. And so today I want to talk about influence and action and why the things that used to be considered soft have become hard. And so that's what we'll talk about today. As Brian shared, leverage the chat to ask questions if you'd like as we go along. We're also going to use Kahoot as a polling engine because I really want this conversation to be us sharing with each other as well. A lot of us are doing things in different ways, and this might be a way we get to learn about what each other are doing as we start this wonderful new year. So, back before Facebook happened, and yes, probably a number of us are able to remember before Facebook, I was an actual grown up before Facebook happened. And I used to think all the time how I wish I could find several different people, specifically from childhood, a couple of people from elementary school and a couple of people from high school. I wonder where Rachel is. I loved Rachel. We were just such great friends. If I just knew where Rachel was, it would be great. We'd catch up, we'd be old friends like we used to be. That's what I used to say before Facebook. And then I got Facebook, and slowly but surely, my friends have evolved to include all of the people from my old church, elementary, high school, college, a lot of my old jobs. And guess what? I still don't talk to Rachel. Like, I just knew that if I had her, we would be back. But that season in life, it kind of passed, and Facebook didn't really help me put together a new relationship with Rachel. Now, there are a couple of people that I have found and stayed connected with, but it didn't do that for she and I. I like to think like that about AI and some of the tools as well. And I think of AI as like a hammer, and it's a tool. And we have so much information. I think about all the information we collect from the meetings we have, the words that were said. We've just never had more information than we have now. And then we record it and we get the transcripts and we summarize it. And sometimes some of those summaries actually give us actions that we should be taking. And yet we still don't do anything. We have some beautiful notes on paper. And so technology can really give us clarity. It can tell us, it can help us with where things are and what's going on, but it can't create the momentum. Clarity alone doesn't create that momentum. So the gap between knowing and doing is where our influence lives. So we hear a lot of companies talking about, it's going to transform, we're going to do these various things, as this statistic on the screen says, but it doesn't equal progress. Influence is actually what closes that gap and gets us to action. And so that's what I want us to talk about, because as automation increases, human skills will become even more valuable, not less valuable. And communication, leadership, influence, those will be the real differentiators from those that might be kind of phoning it in. So that's what I'm excited about us talking about together, collectively. And I'm going to leverage Kahoot. And if you've been to one of these before, where I've had the pleasure of speaking, I've leveraged it before. It's a simple tool where you just need your cellular phone, and the results are going to show on the screen before we've played games with it. This time, I actually am using it as a polling. So you can see what you're doing compared to what other people are doing. And maybe you can take some tips and notes and things that you might want to do as it relates on the tools side. But really, this is a conversation about action. So the first question I'm going to ask you is pretty basic. And I am going to move, you'll see me navigating back and forth. I'm almost there. Now, what you're going to do, if you haven't done this before, is you can scan the QR code and put in, if you scan the QR code, you're automatically in the tool. You'd only need to add a name, and you can add whatever name you want. You can have, oh, look, Rachel, she's here too. Anyway, or you can type in kahoot.it in the game pin, and that will also put you here. Just a screen appropriate name is great. Awesome. And this is not required for this presentation, but I think it's fun and engaging. So use it if you like. I hope you do, because we all want to know what you're thinking. All right. So that's moving kind of fast. Oh, we got a caring cat. It's always nice to have a caring cat. Brussel, Shane, Ty, Eric W., Callie. And I'm taking this time to look at a couple of the chat comments. And oh yes, Stephen, I can remember Rolodexes. I can remember Rolodexes. I used to stick people's business card in a little book. All right, here we go. The first question is a very easy question. It's a yes or no question. And it's going to show up momentarily. And it's no, I mean, speed is not going to make you win this question. Do you use artificial intelligence? Do you use it in general? I miss when AI meant Allen Iverson. I mean, remember when people say AI, that's what it meant? All right, we got a lot of answers. Okay, we have 29 that say yes and one that says no. All right. So we're going to be back there momentarily, so don't let that screen die. I just want to talk a little bit before we go to our next question. So AI is incredibly good at some things. If you've used it, you know that it captures information super fast. Well, as quick as you give it, because of all the great computing power that we're probably using to harm the planet. And then it organizes information super fast. That's what I really enjoy about it. And it will attempt to organize the information in whatever formation you ask it to. And it saves a lot of time. An example of that for me in my business is process maps. If I can record a conversation with you about how you do a process, I can ask artificial intelligence to take our words and help me start with mapping it out. I can say, hey, give me the blocks of the process, tell me the inputs, the outputs. If you talked to me before, you know I love SIPOX, and that's a mnemonic for supplier input, process output, um, customer. So it's really great at organizing. So I think it saves me a lot of time, and I think, it we should all consider it. I know we have a holdout here. And it's great, somebody said, until it hallucinates and leads you down an incorrect path, right? And the hallucinations and things of that sort, and not knowing whether you've gotten great information or not, really requires us to use critical thinking skills. That is a whole nother topic, for another time, but I'm really going to work a lot this year on critical thinking and making sure the people that I know have critical thinking, because I think we need it now more than ever. But now, well, before I leave here, I want to just talk about some of the ways that we could be using it. Meeting intelligence, transcribing conversations, summarizing discussions. I found myself even being very explicit in my conversation about what we're saying. I'm like, okay. And what you're saying, Brian, is that you'll have that done on January the 21st. Okay. Because I know that I have a tool that's really capturing that as an action. From a project acceleration standpoint, work breakdown structures, very, very helpful in creating that. Even, hey, I want to take this information and give it in a 10-slide presentation. Give me some suggestions on a good way to organize it. Speeding up analysis. I mentioned SIPOC, root cause analysis. I love the five whys. I took a really thorny conversation with someone and I did the five whys ad nauseum to try and help me get at an answer, action items, and even preparing for times like this, it gives me great examples to use. So I know I'm singing the praises of what it can do. And I just kind of want to now know how you're leveraging um, AI in what you do, if you are. We know not all of us are. And so you'll see me go to the next question, and it's open-ended, and it's saying, what AI tools are you currently using for project management? Now, I'm hoping I learned something new here, other than ChatGPT, because I spend a lot of my time doing that, and I pay for it. But if you could type your answer, you have up to 250 words. You can put several different ones. Now, if you've lost a game pin, it's always on the bottom of the screen. And so it is 2409149. But I had to today I'm in your time zone because I'm actually in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And the first time I came out here, it was to learn a little bit about water treatment plants and things of that sort. And I studied civil engineering in college. And it had been, you might imagine, 25 years or so since I had a hydrology book. And I said, hey, give me a SIPOC on water treatment plants. And oh my goodness, that was a really great refresher. Okay, we're going to take a look at the answer. It sorry if it bypassed you. I got a fellow CE in the house. Thank you, Selena. So let's see what we got. All right. Okay, show answers. That'd be helpful. Oh, I had a lot of co-pilots, and you find co-pilot is an answer a lot because a lot of us in corporate structures, co-pilot is the only thing that is accepted in that environment, right? Chat GPT, Gemini, Notebook, LM. No, I'm not sure that, yeah. Chat GPT, Copilot to help draft memos, plans, schedule and dependencies. I use Claude to refine SOPs and strategize launch sequence and planning. Thought Partner, Copilot, and an internal AI tool. I think we're going to all find more and more companies with internal AI tools. I see my husband and his company using internal AI tools often, and he's talking about his avatar or different types of things. So a lot of us are leveraging things, and you'll find, I think, as this year goes on, many of us will start using things outside of these traditional ones. And there was one I didn't recognize. No, I recognize that internal, that's secretive. Tried Copilot to write agile stories, and they did not like it. So they tried though. Hey, The next question, oh, I do want to, Daniel gave us something. Um, he said Notebook LM is a Google tool that provides answers only from sources that you provide. So it's kind of bound and it tells you which source the answer came from. Please select here how you primarily use AI today. I think I know the answer based on um, some of the things you guys just said. And I don't think I have the right question set. I'm gonna write that down though, Notebook LM. All right. Capturing information for those of us, you always have to ask, can I record this conversation? Some people are okay with that and some people aren't. We'll talk a little bit about what you should be doing when you're recording the conversation, right? Not just kind of phoning it in. Organizing work, I think is awesome for organizing work. Like I said, I take lots of information and I organize it in different frameworks. I might say, put this in a side pod, give me a process map. I want to do root cause analysis. It's literally a large language model, ChatGPT is, that's taking language and parsing it up. Speeding delivery on things as a small business owner, you might imagine this is like one of my associates, and supporting decision making. So those are the ways that those of us in this conversation are currently using it. And last but not least, this is a quick one. What's the most interesting application of AI you've used in a project management? What's the most interesting? Yeah, it's not worded the best, but I think you get the idea. Like, what have you done weird with it that some of us might think, oh, I could try it that way? Because it is a tool. Hmm. Hopefully somebody's typing. My weirdest is being able to leverage it for things like the SciPod. Helping me come up with really good questions I'm going to ask my stakeholders, like really good questions. All right, we got 3 people that told us a couple things, actually 4, 5. I'm really excited. Every time I click up there, though, it looks like it doesn't want me to. There we go. Making graphics. Yes, I'm horrible at graphics. I've used it to help me identify next steps in my caster. I'm sure that's a leveraged it to create a complex project plan timeline for a new project that the organization has never done. It's a really great tool for that. Stream of consciousness brainstorming to help with workshops. I love the stream of consciousness of, hey, I really want to, and how do I really make an impact on this team? Making emails more friendly, especially when you don't feel friendly. Oh man, that's the best, isn't it? It's like, okay, I'm really mad. Let me just say everything I'm really mad about and then get some help. Thank you. I see career. I've used to help me identify next steps in my career. Reformatting information quickly for naming projects. Now that's a good one. I've never tried that because when I worked at Coca-Cola, I just felt like, you're always competing with big brand names. So I would want to name my stuff good things instead of forecasting and inventory planning system. It's kind of boring. Price gathering from other projects, notes, the hard part is prompts, and status reports, meeting summary. Awesome. Okay, so we've got a couple of things that artificial intelligence is great at. And I think if you haven't tried it for any of these things, this might be a great time for you to try it for those things. But let's talk about what it cannot do. And I think what we have to be mindful of, because we all have limits, right? Even machines. Um, it cannot be used without review. Hallucinations, anyone? I actually thought it had written a book that it hadn't written before. It would have been perfect for that author. I sent him an email and I said, hey, if this isn't in the works, this is like a perfect book for you. I thought you had written it, and so did AI. Um, Read hesitation in voices. It can't hear it. It doesn't know that you're nervous or and that's when we're taking meeting notes. You can't tell that Rachel is a little stressed out. AI won't notice that in the meeting minutes if she doesn't say it. Sense team resistance. It can't feel that. Build authentic trust. Challenge assumptions with care and love. Um, and inspire genuine commitment. Those are things that it cannot do. As a as a human, we can see hesitation, silence, resistance, and confusion. And if we don't see them, we can be in trouble. So we have to see those things and pay attention to them and address them when we see them, because if we don't, we'll pay for it later. So I'm gonna give you a quick example about a boss I had once. The company I was at was decentralizing all the project managers. They had a bake off, right? And the top 8 project managers made it to this little team. And now we're supposed to serve the organization instead of our previous directors. Well, they brought in a guy from the outside to be our new boss. He seemed nice enough, but he lived in a different city. And so this was before working remote was all that cool, because we didn't have all the technology and tools for it. It's probably back in 2014, 2013. I don't know. But we had this wonderful conference room, and it had a system at the top of the room that would capture our voice. And the voice, whoever spoke, this is probably some WebEx or Cisco thing, whoever spoke, their voice would come down. I would think, oh, that's the voice of God. And so he decided he would have his meetings on Monday. And all of us were in the office, all the team members, but he was remote. And so he would ask us questions. There's no video because this is 2013 and we didn't have video for this particular conference room. So we give our updates. People would roll their eyes. He'd say something. We'd look up. Somebody might snicker or nudge somebody next to them. There was this whole meeting going on that this man had no clue about because he wasn't in the room. So that went on for about a month or so, and it was just bothering me in my spirit. And I finally said, hey, if you're not going to be here on Monday, could you have your team meetings on Tuesday? Because we got a whole nother meeting going. I didn't tell him we have a whole nother. I just thought maybe you should have it when you're in person. The thing about that was we weren't taking him seriously, and we were all still taking our direction from our previous leaders and still kind of doing what they wanted us to do. He had no influence, right? So he was just like a disorganized AI. He was giving us our information, and we were giving him information, and he was doing whatever it is he was going to do with it, but he didn't have any real influence over his team. So that I always um, think about that when I think about that example, when I think of influence. So leadership requires noticing what was not said so that you can turn it into some action, because it's the things that aren't being said that trip you up. If influence is the gap, right, between our glut of information and sometimes lack of action, then how do we improve our influence, and what does it mean when we influence it? Over on the right-hand side, there's this triangle of influence, or the 3 C's. And yes, we're finally talking about a triangle that is not the triple constraint theory. When clarity, credibility, and care show up, not perfectly, just intentionally, because it's never going to be perfect, right? You can tell the difference. We've all worked for those leaders where they're credible, they're clear, and they care, and we'll move a mountain for them. And we've worked for those that we don't trust. They're not very clear, and they could give a darn because they're just making a stop here while they work to their next promotion. And we don't really go the extra mile for them. We'll do what we're supposed to do, but that's about it. So I want to talk about these 3 elements a little, and I'm going to probably use I am going to use a couple of different words. And move your screen a little bit so you don't time out on the Kahoot if you haven't already timed out. But anyway, I just want to talk about these 3 a little bit. I love this sentence. It says, if you improve influence to drive decisions, action, and alignment in every interaction. If you don't have influence, it's so hard sometimes to get things going and to get things done. And oftentimes, especially for those that work as project managers that kind of get dropped into places really quick, and then we're supposed to get a whole bunch of stuff done. We have to think very quickly about how we establish those things. So, um, we'll talk about those things a little bit, and then we'll do a survey question about where we think we need to spend our time. I'm clicking, you just can't tell. There we go. Um, Credibility, you can see here on the screen for credibility, I added the word self-awareness behind it because I want to talk more about self-awareness as a component, I think, of credibility. But this is my own thought process. Credibility grows. You can grow your credibility when your words, action, and follow through consistently match. It's not about knowing everything, it's about being reliable, transparent, and aligned, right? So when we're dropped into a situation and we need to get credibility going, one of the best things to do is to do whatever the heck it is you said you were going to do. Put some things out there quickly that you can demonstrate, hey, I'm a person that does what I follow up when I say I'm going to follow. I'm a credible person. Um, Care on just a sentence of care is you show you care by listening without rushing, acknowledging impact and responding. Like, I really do care what you're about to say about this. I'm not just trying to push my agenda. I'm not just here, representing the man. Okay. Clarity, you create clarity by making decisions explicit, expectations visible, and next steps unmistakable. That's how you do clarity, right? And so we can think about, oh, I know exactly where I need to improve. I had a couple years where I really had to improve my credibility. I just wasn't delivering on the things I said I was going to deliver on, and no, I mean, you're not a leader worth following if people can't take you serious and find you credible. But let's talk a little bit more about the spaces that are under these, specifically self-awareness. If you don't know how you show up, you can't lead the room. So I've been thinking a lot, talking a lot, doing a lot as it relates to self-awareness because I bumped into a couple of people in my life recently, specifically family, that I feel have absolutely no self-awareness. And I watch, and as they age, it's almost unbearable to watch it. And so I think as a leader, we have to be very self-aware. A project leader, a project manager, we got to know what our default mode is under pressure and manage it. We got to notice when we're talking just to be heard versus to be understood. I have to watch that one for myself a lot. And we have to ask, what am I trying to protect right now? Even when we're working with somebody else and you find yourself holding on to something, hold on, what am I working to protect right now? So it might be an interesting take on credibility, but I really just have a passion around self-awareness lately. And then with care, talking about active listening as a place we can improve. Listening isn't waiting for your turn to talk. I've been actively working on active listening for the last 2 years. And I was about to be down on myself about it because I have much further to go. And then I said, no, I have decades, like over 4 decades of bad active listening. So I'm gonna be gentle. But listen for emotion, hesitation. If you're not talking or if you're not thinking about the next thing you have to say, you be amazed at what you'll see. And you'll see hesitation. You can ask people follow-up questions. Hey, I see that kind of made you a little, jumpy. Why did it? Reflect before responding and notice what seems unsaid. So when people feel heard, they move faster. You want a quicker way to trust with somebody? Be quiet and listen to what they're saying. Even if you don't agree, you don't have to agree. And then last but not least, before I ask you where you want to focus for this year, clear communication. Clarity is kindness. I think Dave Ramsey says that. If I keep quoting him, I probably should find out. But end meetings with decisions, not summaries. Say why before what. Replace, does that make sense with what feels unclear or risky? Try to go deeper. AI is drafting a structure for us and it's helping us take the notes, get deeper on the communication part, and don't phone it in. Um, we got a lot of some great things in the chat here. Jordan said credibility plus care It's part of the influence triangle, reminds him of charisma. Clarity is a good ad. I think you can have charisma. Oh, yes, you can have charisma without clarity. And it's not that useful without clarity. You're right. Some of us are charismatic, but we can just be blowing hot air. And thank you. Yeah, Brene, I like Brene Brown. All right, so we're going to ask ourselves, we're going to commit to ourselves via this Kahoot, where we feel we need to spend the most time improving in these C's that are represented. You're right. You can find all kinds of C's. People like to use C's for stuff. And if you lost your pen, it's on the bottom of the screen. Clarity, credibility, care. All right. Well, we all seem like a good number of us will be working on probably our communication. I know that's where I spent a lot of years, I feel like, in credibility. And now I'm really focused on clarity. And I feel like the more I work, the more I realize I need to work. Like, and I think because our world is so noisy right now, there's so much noise. Got notifications going off over here, over there. Somebody could hit you up on Facebook, LinkedIn, text message, email. It's just, we're tired and we're not communicating as clearly as we should. So thank you for that. Where do we, I think I'm clear. Barbara shared with everybody, if you're watching the chat, it really helps her. Copilot really helps her with clarity. She writes what she wants to say and then gets help on making it clear. I do that too. It's funny, some people are trying to sound less angry. Oftentimes I'm trying to not sound as nice. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm I'm trying to make sure you're very clear on specific next steps. And so it will often help me put a little bit more teeth into what I'm communicating because I don't want to be misunderstood. Yes, I lots of ways we can do that. So thank you guys for sharing there. All right, so we all have committed the internet um cloud gods know that you what you said you were going to focus on this year. So there you go. You have to follow through with it. Some of our common project challenges, and we're going to talk, hang out here a little bit about some of the project challenges that we all probably have. Executive alignment. I always find that an interesting one because and some executive asked you to do what you were doing, but now you need to get them aligned on doing it. Okay. Cross-functional collaboration. It's very rare nowadays that a project lives in one vertical. Used to be, but now that everything's digital, at least IT is involved in it too. God bless them, right? And if you're an IT project manager, you're probably the most misunderstood person. Yeah, we know. Um, Change resistance, that's on everything. I'm rolling out something very simple with the client right now, or so I thought, right? Decision paralysis. I've been saying paralysis all day. Paralysis. If I would say analysis, and then I'd say paralysis. But people struggling to make decisions, I love to say failure to make a decision is, in fact, a decision. And then accountability gaps. People just not doing what they said they were going to do, people not following through. What are your most prevalent, if only if it doesn't show up on this list, could you share in the chat a project challenge that you have that, I mean, just common across multiple that you don't see reflected here? Priority conflicts. Yes. Oh, I love that. This is more important. No, this is more important. But from the people that told you to do it. So that's even more exciting. Okay, that's great. Sponsor disengagement. Yes, yes. I might even slight that one under executive alignment. That's a weird one to me. I'm always like, huh? Um, all of these that you shared in the chat, aligning expectation between sales and deliveries. Oh, I see all the ones. Funding issues halfway through, accountability gaps, follow through, but late. All these different things we're experiencing. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Oh. and no one making final decision. And everybody wants to be in charge, but nobody wants to make a decision. That's exciting. All of these are influence problems. None of these are problems that can be solved with artificial intelligence. They all need some influence in order to get it from here to there. And so I point that out just to say, hey, there's space for us. We need to let the tools just help us be great at how we move the crowd, how we get things done, how we get people moving on things. So I'm going to go back to Kahoot to ask here, see which one of these that we've talked about. Oh, that's not the right question, but we'll ask it anyway. Which of these represents project management triple constraint theory? This is an actual test. I just wanted to see. I think I accidentally skipped the one before it, but we just want to see who's on top of their game when it comes to project management theory. Very good. Scope, schedule, and cost. I felt like if we talked about the other, the influence triangle, I'd feel bad if I didn't mention triple constraint theory. All right, here's the real question. What's your specific, most persistent and recurring project challenge across everything you do? And I can really think of ways that AI can help me, but I can't think of, I know it is hard to pick one, isn't it? I thought about saying multiple, but I really wanted to see, I started to say select all that, but I said, no, I just really want to see what the prevailing wisdom is. I use this sometimes as informal surveys. Oh, wow. That spoke enough. So to Jordan's point, to Jennifer's, to Caitlin, if I were to do this quiz again, I will put all of the above because that's pretty much what you guys just said with this all over the place answer. Um, all of these are in today's world, I think, very challenging, and none of these can be solved um, by themselves with just some tool, right? I'm gonna, oh, just trying to go back to the chat. I see you guys. Okay. So, a couple of things we can try in order to improve our influence. We already know where we're going to focus in this year. And some of you already wrote it down. You wrote down clarity, care, or credibility. Um, if you're going to leverage AI, which I think it is really a good tool to leverage to prepare for meetings, it's a great tool to help you with meetings as far as allowing you to be more in the moment and be fully present. Your attention is part of your influence. I'm recently working with a colleague, and um, one of the guys on her team would just take the notes and just, I mean, I think he thought his role was to take notes and share them, right? There's no value add to that. A bot could show up and take notes and share them. I mean, we could program the bot to send the email out too. Your value is to, hey, take a look, make sure that it's true what it said. Take it one step deeper and understand what's missing here, or pay attention and understand where the hesitation and the got yous are. See what stakeholder needs a little bit more special love and attention because they're not engaged as they should be. Those are the types of things that showing up fully present allow us to do. Ask one better question, one that goes just a level deeper, right? Because that's how alignment happens. Instead of does everyone agree, what about something like, what could realistically get in the way of this happening? You'll get better answers. If you want to go for the drama, I think I've shared before, what's the thing that's going to make this project not happen? People love to tell you the risk. Or instead of why isn't this done? What's getting in the way of getting this done? So, what's that one better question? And just like you use Copilot to help you make an email sound better, you could use Copilot to help you go one level deeper with your questions. And listen for the unspoken. Listen for what is not being said and then name it. Because if you name it, it gives you permission. It gives permission to it being in the atmosphere, and it helps you start to build trust and people see that you care. So if you're actively listening, listen for the unspoken. Anything else that you guys think with all of your experience? We got a lot of great people in the room, 40 people in the room. Any other things you think that it's allowed that you would challenge us to try to help us improve our influence and to be not just seen? I see a lot of people in, I should stay off of Reddit. I got rid of Twitter, but then I moved to Reddit. It was not, I did not move on up. Um, but a lot of people are really scared about, is this gonna take away my work? Or I feel like people just see me as a scheduler, right? And they just think I'm just a person to send out the notes and kick off the meetings. These are some things we can do in order to share value for those of us that are in that everyday meeting type world. But does anybody else have any suggestions on things they've tried to show up a little bit better now that they have these tools? Okay. You can tell us in a minute. Oh, using AI to wordsmith, pulling action items and following up. So back in the day when I was a really good project manager, one year I was like, I'm going to be the best project manager on the planet. I would book an hour after each meeting to summarize my notes. I would have a little grid at the top. You could tell who attended, who didn't attend in a subtle but not accusatory fashion, who said they were going to do what, by when. And then at the end of the meeting, I would schedule the next meeting and I put the summary of what we said in the next meeting's invite so that we could start each meeting with the action items. Oh my gosh, that used to take me so much time. Now I could do the same thing for a lot less time. So I think in the chat you got plenty of great ideas from seasoned PMs to help you get better with how you influence and show value to your stakeholders. So I'm going to ask you one final Kahoot question, and thank you for your participation with Kahoot. What's the thing that will most improve your project outcomes this year? What is the thing that's will really help you be a better project leader? And this is not a quiz question. This is your answer. Stronger influence, clearer communication, which is kind of a subset, but I wanted to separate them. Better tools. Sometimes we have what we need, right? It's like me with you waiting on Facebook to help me find people. No, I'm not. And faster delivery. But so thank you for sharing those things. Do not let the whole point of this conversation is don't let automation it's going to take us, it's going to come on us more and more this year. I just subscribe to an email AI tool because I get probably 200 emails a day. A lot of them are marketing. I'm not the best at unsubscribing. I just have a lot of noise. And then probably I can say now confidently about 10 of them in the day are things I really need to respond to. And so I tried Fixer out for the last 2 weeks, Fyxer. I uploaded it or I bought it, I got the trial, and it organized my inbox in probably, I don't know, 10 seconds. I wasn't counting. It happened so quick. And it drafted responses. It doesn't send, but it drafts. It organized things. I needed to tweak a couple of things. My ClickUp tasks were going the wrong place. Um, but I was like, oh my goodness. It's amazing. However, I cannot let that automation make me automatic. I can't just think, oh, this is my drafted emails, and then I'm just sending them out. I need to make sure it has my tone, what I want. So don't let automation make you automatic. Don't let artificial intelligence make you come across as artificial. Let AI be AI and you focus on what humans do. So I think some of us are trying to fight the battle. And I have my daughter is 20 and she's studying to be an industrial designer. She is fighting AI hard. She feels like it's hurting her, what she's studying to do. And she just started and she loves it. And she's not going to use the tools and she's not. And I said, Sweetie, Pandora is out of the box. Like, this is here. This is here to stay. You got to figure out how it helps you be a step or two more. But we need to figure out what is it that humans do and be about what humans do. In this era, communication is no longer soft, in my opinion. It's a hard skill. It's a hard skill because one is very important. Two, there's so many things that are keeping us from being able to communicate, like face to face and as humans. And three, we had a lot of our workforce, our newer workforce, that grew up in a time where they didn't really start off their careers even speaking to people and meeting with people and learning a lot of the basics of how to influence because of just, technology and the pandemic and lots of other things that we could blame it on. But I think if you focus on your influence, it will definitely differentiate you. And we don't have to be so worried about the robots. Now, if you are worried about the robots, always when you get your information back, say please and thank you. I think that's the only thing that could potentially save us. Always say please and thank you. But no, I'm told that that's probably burning up the planet doing that. So AI is a reality, but we as professionals are allowed to be even better at our craft and get better at the thought processes and the things in our craft. That is what I wanted to share with you today. Don't let automation make you automatic. Your meetings are automated, but you should not be. And as always, I thank you guys for your participation. But hold on, let's see who won that one quiz question. That one quiz question about Project Scope. They're on the podium. Number 3, we have Jordan, the
Jordan.
one-eyed bandit. And number 2, Doctor, but number 1, a woman of influence and
Rachel.
action, and my long lost childhood best friend, Rachel.
Awesome. Any
questions?
I see Maggie. I see Maggie has a comment in here as well. Oh, and there's a link.
Oh.
Thank you, Maggie.
Oh, thank you. Industrial engineering will benefit from AI. Thank you, industrial. She's industrial design, I should say that, but I'm going to check this out and share this with her. Check out this cool project done at the U of I with Amalgamated Sugar that is reimaging how to use AI in the workplace. Wow. Okay, thank you. I will definitely do that. And let's see, Rachel Fisher, not of Decatur, but Rachel elsewhere, because that would be Rachel Adams.
Rachel Fisher is one of my coworkers, and looks like she's the winner.
All right.
Well, Yaquan, thank you for your time today. Thanks for spending it with the chapter members. Again, if you share the presentation with me, then we'll get it shared with team members. We'll make it available. And everyone just know, go to the PMI website and you can claim your PDU credit.
Yep.
Thanks again. And we
did do the triple constraint theory, so you can claim that.
Yes. Great point. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.
It's great to see you guys again. Bye.
All right. Bye.